Let's see, 10, 15 years ago, we were humming along, life as usual. We were kind of the fun couple on the block, on the outside. Um, on the inside, um, there was not a whole lot of communication.
It wasn't intimacy, was it?
There was none.
Neither one of us knew what intimacy was. It's always surface stuff. And if you said something that wasn't comfortable, just kind of brush it off. Didn't really want to face it. Things just stored up. Sometimes they exploded. But didn't know what intimacy was. And I guess it's like, not having color TV. If you don't know what it is, you don't know what you're missing.
We didn't think we were really different from anyone else, other than we thought we had a good relationship. But there was a lot of unexpressed expectations.
We had lots of love going there. We just didn't have a whole lot of honesty. Honesty in the sense of our true feelings. We weren't lying about everyday things.
There was always that undercurrent of pornography that I knew he was viewing and was hoping he wouldn't, and always wondering what I could do differently to change him.
If you think about it, it was what you wanted. It wasn't what I wanted. I didn't want to quit. I wanted to be left alone. I wanted, everything to go along the way it was. But, and I wanted to make you happy, though. So there was definitely a conflict in our life there that kind of added tension.
I was upset with your selfishness, that you said you loved me, and I explained to you many times how much what you were doing was hurting me, and yet you still continued to do it. And the first couple of times you were caught, I'd ask you to stop, and you would tell me that you couldn't make any promises.
Yeah, and I guess if you think back, I was being honest with you then, wasn't I?
That was brutal honesty.
I was being honest with you. I didn't think I could quit.
Yeah.
And I was trying to be honest with you.
I was wanting you to take the initiative to find a counselor.
And I didn't like hurting you. And it hurt me so much to hurt you and to see your pain the last couple of times. I mean, every time. And to see your pain, and I just couldn't understand it. And I wanted to quit.
I guess from that encounter, the very last time that I caught you, when you admitted that you had a problem, you admitted that you couldn't control yourself. And I noticed that sincerity in you. And I felt like you were still paralyzed by your addiction, and that's why I had always wanted you to take the initiative to find the counselor.
And a couple times before, when I told you I couldn't quit, I was being honest with you. I wasn't reaching out for help to quit, but I was trying to tell you, I got a problem. I didn't still use those words. It wasn't until we put it all together that I saw how much it hurt you, Julie. And it hurt me to hurt you.
And the counselor got us to talk about our feelings, because he would often ask you, "Oh, how do you feel about that?" And you'd say, "Oh, I don't know.
I don't know. I don't feel anything. I don't know how that makes me feel." And so, yeah, you're right. It was a whole lot of learning how to feel.
Just so grateful that our counselor continued to push us to church and to community, because being able to talk about our issues and talk about it with other people that understood was just...
And to be able to tell my story to somebody else without judgment was just so freedom, so just lifting off my shoulders. That and every time I told my story, it became easier. And to hear other men's story that weren't too unfamiliar to me, And then when we started digging into my core wounds, and I think that's something that we're all afraid of.
Putting God in the center of our relationship, that triune relationship where everything comes from God anyway.
Yeah, all our happiness. My happiness comes from God. When I first started going to the smaller life recovery group, they only had a small women's group, and I'd heard about the larger group down at Discovery Church, and I really wanted you to get involved in it because I wanted you to hear their side of the story and get in counseling yourself. And that was probably, without a doubt, it helped my recovery to be so much easier. Our marriage is so much different today. We have true intimacy in our marriage, that we can talk to each other about anything.
I now feel loved, cherished, chosen by the man that I married. Something that was missing in our relationship for a long time. And I trust him now. It's been a journey of learning to trust and leaning in.
It's quite a journey, and I'll just add that our journey in Christ, our journey with the Bible, just us studying the Bible together, that it just adds another element to it, and we're continuing. We're both so willing to continue to work on our marriage every single day. We don't take it for granted.
And we're bringing our intimacy with God into our relationship and building our relationship with the Lord and building our relationship together and sharing those things, which is really pretty exciting because we feel like baby Christians in a way.
I think we make it through anything, and I think anybody can if they trust in God and be willing to turn it over to Him. And I think now what helps us now is we're available to other people, and that sharing our stories is a way for us to continue our healing and feel like we're doing God's work.
Sharing our story for God's glory.
There you go.
I always like to use that phrase.
I love it.